Well, gentlemen, here we go. Sun's coming up. They don't really bite till the sun comes up down here anyways. Water's cooled down quite a bit. I got a feeling it's gonna be a good day. I haven't been out here in a while and I'm kind of excited, but we'll see how it goes. I really hope you can see that, because that's what a ton of fish looks like on side scan. Might be a better one. Feels that way. I got a Carolina rigged bull shad that floats, and it suspends the bait up, but I can get it down to like 25, 30 foot. I don't know how big this guy is. He was tugging. Trip landing on him. Oh yeah, he's solid. He is solid. Change that to hooks on this thing. They got freaking giant ones on it. But I got that big old weight. How about that, boys? How about that? Ate it. Ate it. So basically what I did here is I've been trying to get these deeper swim baits down, or these big swim baits, harder swim baits, down to the depth. And a lot of them don't run to the depth that I want to get them to. So let me get this fish unhooked and released. It's nice, like 5, 4.5, before I can get myself hooked. Solid one. Get her back. Get back down there, bud. Oh, go, go, go. Oh! Nice. Well, basically what I did here is I took a floating bull shad right here, 6-inch version, and I put it about a, I don't know, there's like a freaking 6.5 foot leader of 20-pound mono, and then I got a 1 ounce freaking bullet weight. I use the steel ones. You gotta watch. Yeah, it's starting to get a little frayed. I might have to retie that, but it frays up a little bit. But in any case, what ends up happening is this bait freaking floats up, and I can long line it. I can't cast it, but I can long line it, and the bait will swim, and I can get this floater down to like 25, 30 feet of water and kind of slow roll it through the fish. So it's kind of a cool setup. I'm gonna retie this and make another pass, but bull shad, catching big ones. It catches some freaking giants too. Oh my gosh. Get. I got 2 giants on. Did you see that? Did you see that? It's freaking 2 toads. Oh man, oh man. Oh man. We'll call that a double up, huh? Double up, baby. Double up. Let's get back in there. Guys, you saw that giant that I caught with my buddy Joey Berg a couple videos ago. We had like 30 pounds or something. I forget what I called the video, but basically we had a giant on an Alabama rig or an umbrella rig, whatever you want to call them. Make sure you check out Joey, freaking Dream Bait Guide Services. Super cool dude. Awesome guide on Okeechobee. But yeah, so we caught a freaking giant on the Alabama rig, on the umbrella rig, and it seemed to be a big key. And then you just saw in this video just a second ago here, doubled up on the Alabama rig. So basically, here's the deal. I got a bunch of questions on, you know, what's my setup for an Alabama rig? What am I using? What's my baits? What's the line terminal? You know, like general stuff and that. As usual, I don't know everything, but I have been catching a couple hammers on that A-rig. So we're going to run through here real quick some of the details and some of the stuff that I'm using with that Alabama rig. So I hope it helps you out. Alright guys, let's start with brass tacks here first. What kind of Alabama rigs am I using? Basically, the ones I've always used, I haven't tried a whole bunch. I tried a few back in the day when they first came out. Kind that I'm using are Picasso. I like them. They hold up. I've never had a problem with them. And here's really specifically why I like them. There'll be a link down in the description box to check them out on Tackle Warehouse. But basically, I'm a guy who likes specialization. I like nuance and like little tweaks and stuff. I know pretty much what I want when it comes to a fishing bait, fishing lure. What's nice with the Picasso stuff is they have like 14 different Alabama rigs or umbrella rigs, whatever you want to call them. They got micro ones, they got big heavy duty ones like this. This is actually one of my favorites. This is the schoolie rig, the heavy duty. Like this freaking super heavy wire. You can boat flip a freaking 8-pounder on this thing if you have the jig head set up right. But you can get it with blades, without blades. Like there's tons of freaking options, and you can really specialize to get the exact rig that you're looking for, because depending on the water clarity, depending on the size of fish, you do need a different bait or a different rig to accommodate, you know, the fish that you're catching. All right, let's delve into jig heads. Basically, jig heads. It's going to be your swim bait style jig head, kind of like a nose hook right there. It's going to be a darter kind of style. You want that nose like a 45 degree just above the hook. Now here's a big trick with the hooks. I like this is a 6-cent jig head. It's the 1/4 ounce. I like that longer shank hook. You can't always get it. I also like that heavier duty hook, because oftentimes you're boat flipping these fish, or using, I like that heavy wire rig. So I'm using a pretty bulky, heavy line deal, and I don't want to be opening hooks, especially if I get multiple fish on and have to fight them like that. So that longer, heavier duty hook is definitely what I like. But sometimes you do need to go down to something a little more finesse, a little more fine wire for those smaller schoolie style rigs. The one in the video you're seeing though is that heavy duty rig with some big long shank hooks. So here's the other thing with jig heads. Let's talk about size. Size is really going to vary depending on the depth of water you're looking to target. Usually the heaviest jig head that I'll use on an Alabama rig is a 1/4 ounce. And that means 5 1/4 ounce, because here in Florida we can actually run 5 different jig heads. Make sure you pay attention to what your local regulations are, because depending on where you are, you can only run 1 hook or 3 hooks, or you can run like 3 teasers in 1 hook. It does vary, but I'm talking specifically about Florida. We can run 5 open hooks on there. But the heaviest jig head I'll use is 1/4 ounce. And oftentimes I'm not using all 5 1/4 ounce jig heads, because I'm aiming to target anywhere from like 18 to say 30 feet of water. And basically, I've found if I run 2 1/4 ounce jig heads and 3 1/8 ounce jig heads, that's perfect. It's perfect for the slow rolling I'm kind of trying to do. And oftentimes with these A-rigs, you're targeting more suspended fish. So I actually want that umbrella rig to rise up a little bit off the bottom, and not just be grinding down on the bottom like a crankbait or something along those lines. This is more of a winter technique. So you do see kind of fish like rising up to the top, suspending, things along those lines, depending on temperatures in the water columns,
how much sun the water's getting, and just time of year. So that's kind of my deal. Usually though, if I'm only fishing, say, from like 8 foot to like 15-20 foot, I'll run all like 1/8 ounce heads, a little bit lighter. Then I can slow roll it to keep it down there, but I'm not weighting down on the bottom kind of deal. But mix it up. You don't need to all run the exact same size weight together to get where you want to be depth wise. So this is the rig I was using in the video. It's a big freaking beast, dude. It's a big beast. And one of the first things you're gonna notice is the super heavy wire. It's because we're dealing with big fish. I don't know if I'm gonna catch 2 6-pounders at the same time, or 2 2-pounders, or maybe 1 9-pounder like we did with Joey. Like, you just don't know what you're gonna run into. So I'd rather be prepared. They don't seem too finicky with eating. Nice. Why not just throw it around a little bit? They don't seem too finicky with eating the thing, dude. They chomp down on it. The water isn't super duper clear, but it's pretty clear, but I can get away with this. You also notice I got the blades on here. I like that because there's a lot of shad in these lakes, a lot of glass minnows. So that little bit of flash, especially when you're getting in, like, say, deeper than like 17, 18 feet of water, sun penetration goes down. And you'd be surprised, even in a clear body of water, how dark it gets down there. But there's still a little bit of light penetration. So getting a little bit of water displacement, as well as maybe a little extra flash down there to draw the fish in, you're not finesse fishing, dude. Like, don't get me wrong. Maybe you might throw like a smaller Alabama rig and be a little more finesse. But dude, if you're throwing this thing, you're not finesse fishing. Now, you might be fishing in some hard conditions, say winter, suspended fish, super cold, can't catch them any other way. But don't misinterpret anything, dude. This is power fishing, not finesse fishing. So I like the blades. It gives it a little more flash to like displace some water. The other thing you're gonna notice too. All right, my favorite bait to put on these things is the Gambler Easy swim bait. And the reason for that, here, let me put these down. Let me show you my 2 favorite colors first. It's Ghost Shad, like that guy, or this Hammond's Herring. Those are the 6, or white. I guess I should mention that too. White's solid too, but those kind of 3 are my go-to colors. But what you'll notice is I run different sizes. I'm a strong believer in running different size baits. I'll run like 3 easy swimmers and 2 big easies usually, and then I'll see kind of where I'm getting my bites. Do I need to downsize? Am I having fish miss it in that? But in general, I'm gonna run a couple big easies and a couple easy swimmers, and that seems to cover me. If I'm on a super big bite, I'll run all big easies and go big, or not go at all. Now, real quick, why am I running these easy swim baits? Well, I like the full body swim bait, and the reason for that is it's super durable, yet soft, and it swims really well. Yet on a jig head, I don't got to worry about using freaking super glue, all that stupid stuff to keep them pinned on there. When you put them on there, they stay set. That plastic kind of forms around the jig head and really holds solid, and you don't have to worry about them slipping. They can take a beating, and you can catch like 4 or 5 fish on it, and you don't have to worry about tearing up like those hollow bodies and things along those lines. They're perfect for that A-rig. All right, last but not least, let's talk terminal tackle. And what I've been using in these vids, this is a 621 reel. It's basically like your medium speed reel. It gives me enough quickness where if I want to burn that rig up real quick, or if I need to reel up a bunch of slack, kind of like you saw when that double up happened a little earlier in the video, you really need to kind of like pick up that slack real quick and load up on them, and you're not slamming on them, but you're giving them a good sweeping hook set. But it's a 621 reel, so not super fast, not super slow either. You do need a little higher quality reel. I'm using an old Sitica, and this is actually one of the junkier ones, man. It's kind of not super great, and I've bent the handle a bit. You need something that's decently built, because slinging, I mean, this turns out probably to be about 4 or 5 ounces of crap, like between the swim baits and all that. Slinging that and then having the potential of like hooking up with 2 fish in that, it really puts a toll on the reel. So line wise, I'm a huge fan of Sunline, dude. I got Sunline Sniper on here. I'm running 20-pound fluorocarbon. Not braid, straight fluorocarbon all the way to the Alabama rig. That Sniper is super low stretch. I like it like a ton. Like, I like it more than any other fluorocarbon I've tried. Now, I haven't tried the Seaguar stuff, and I have heard good stuff about it. But for me, the Sniper, super low stretch. It's like the closest to braid that I can get when it comes to fishing this like open water offshore style. But it works great for the A-rig. A little stiffer line too, which I like because you feel bites better. Also great for fighting the fish because you can kind of drag them in. I'm also running, this is actually an E6X, it's the Loomis, I forget which one is it. It's the 7.6 heavy fast. So basically this rod, it says it's fast. It's a little more of a moderate fast. It has a nice wonky tip on, not wonky, but a soft play tip. You probably noticed in the video when I loaded up, that tip kind of went down, and then you did see kind of a bit of a parabolic or a moderate kind of bend in the body of the rod. And that's why I like this thing for throwing this A-rig. I can sling it a good distance because it kind of it flexes with the A-rig. Like you can't just throw it like on a, or at least I don't want to throw it on just like a 8-foot like flipping stick that's super duper stiff. Like I want to have some whip in it so I can fling it out there. It's like a giant swim bait kind of deal. It also, that body of the rod having that somewhat parabolic flex but still having some tip to it, really makes it good for feeling bites and feeling ticks, because oftentimes you'll feel these fish kind of hammer it, and you need to have the tip load correctly. It can't just be all parabolic. You need to have a bit of quickness in the action in order for the rod to load right, to bend up on these fish. So that's why I like this thing. Also, it's got a friggin' long handle, which is very important because you need leverage not only to set the hook but to throw this thing. But it is your standard 7.6 flipping stick. I sometimes throw it on a 7.95 Dobbins Fury, which is the same rod that you'll see probably in the video upcoming. I catch a freaking giant in the upcoming video, which you got to check out on a swim bait. It's actually 3 in a row. But in any case, though, I throw it on that 7.95 Fury sometimes. It's also good. It just depends on the situation. That's a little heavier duty rod. I do like this though for this rig and sort of throwing the easies and that. If I want to go real big, that's when I kind of bust out that 7.95. But yeah, that's the setup overall for doing this A-rig deal. Highly recommend the easy swim baits because they just take a beating. And with this is power fishing. It's intense fishing, especially when you're hooking 2 or 3 fish. You need those baits to stay on there so you can get back out and keep on doing what you're doing. But Alabama rig, I don't care what you think about it because it catches fish. I look at it as a tool, and if it catches fish, I'm going to use it. That's my opinion. A lot of people like have all these political, do-ha-has about using stuff, but it is what it is. I look at it as another bait and a tool to catch fish. And frankly, the only reason, and you can call me out on this if you want, I could care less, but the only reason FLW and Bass banned it is because it catches fish, and it would X out a bunch of marketing dollars from other bait companies, and it would probably dominate a good chunk of the tour. But hey, just my opinion, right? So basically though, that's how you run it. Great for this pre-spawn winter time. You get suspended fish, you get fish that are kind of like moving up on some breaks but not totally moving in. Your creek channel fish, your fish are thinking about doing their thing but they're not there yet because of the colder weather. Or if you just got schooling fish that are potted up down towards the bottom or even up in the middle water column suspended, it is killer and nothing catches them like it. Like you can throw everything in your tackle box at these fish sometimes. They won't bite. You pick up a rig, dude, and you have 25 pounds. Like it's stupid how they eat it. Like it really is. If you've never thrown, you got to give it a try because they hammer it too. It's like just running into a freight train when they eat it, dude. But cool deal. Hope this helps you out. As usual, support, like, freaking, if you dig real fishing, if you dig what we're doing right here, make sure to tell your buddies about it. But if you got any further questions on the A-rig, I don't know everything about it, obviously. I just know kind of how I throw it and how I've used it and been successful with it. But feel free to hit me up if you got questions, or if I'm doing it totally wrong, want to tell me about that too. But enjoy the vids and stay tuned for next week too, guys. We have a freaking stupid thing coming up. Just you'll dig it. So tight lines.